Hello there everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down my favorite team so far from testing for this epic only challenge Fire Night tournament. This is a challenge that's probably not a good idea if you are a brand new player or an earlier game player. Why? Because we are of course going into the brand new Fusion for Moranix, who's going to be, I believe, starting on Tuesday, right? And stay tuned, I will have a full showcase for her coming as soon as the embargo lifts. So stay tuned for that very soon on the channel. Make sure to subscribe. And also, by the way, shout out guys, thank you very much for giving feedback. Obviously, I'm in my new house, setting up my new office. I don't know how the audio was so quiet. It's weird. Like, obviously I unplugged everything to transport it, but I didn't change any of the dials or anything. I just reattached everything and it came out just much quieter. I have no idea why. It doesn't really make sense, but that's the way it is. Maybe I reattached something wrong. I don't know. But hopefully it is sounding much better here in today's video. Of course, let me know about any technical issues that are going on. I probably obviously know about them. Like, of course, the webcam is shot. I've talked about that before. The webcam and the light, well, the webcam is fine, but the lighting is really bad. And obviously the green screen, there is no green screen at the moment. So a lot of stuff still being set up. But let me know anyway if you spot anything that is not quite right, especially with the audio, and we can definitely get that fixed up. Again, thanks for helping out with that. Let's dive in though, and we have a few teams to show you here today. Let's actually dive straight into stage 25, which is kind of crazy. We don't usually do this with these tournaments, but seeing as stage 20 is actually Force Affinity, you may find it easier, believe it or not, to do stage 25. It's true. We're going to go in, and this is the team I have here. And by the way, you have a ton of flexibility with this team. There are a lot of champions who are replaceable. Now, the one champion I say you definitely do want for stage 25 here is Allure. She is on the far right, and Allure is coming in, and she is going to be giving us a ton of turn meter control on the boss. In fact, if your Allure is well enough geared, like my one actually is fast enough that she can keep the boss turn meter controlled just by herself, which is absolutely crazy. We do have a few other champions in here, though, that can assist with that. So, for example, we've got Deacon Armstrong in the lead. He's going to give us a speed aura. The speed aura will help us keep on top of the boss. He's going to be giving us turn meter control with his A3 as well. So he will also help us stay ahead of the boss. Then we also have Archmage Helmet, the channel mascot right here. He's going to come in and he's going to be giving us increased speed, again, to help us just stay ahead of that boss. So that stuff is replaceable. Now, Archmage, I definitely think for stage 25, Archmage is kind of an MVP. You guys know I love him, obviously. I use him a huge amount in Doom Tower hard, but when it comes down to this stage 25 dungeon, the thing that really sets him apart, very much so, is his stuns, right? He is just throwing out stuns like no other epic can. He's in fact probably better at crowd control than most legendaries. The dude is absolutely insane. So he gives you that level of safety, that level of control. Like right here we can see that yes, we're turn meter controlling these guys, but if they were to get a turn, it doesn't matter. This entire enemy team, like right there, that Vrask, he got a turn, doesn't matter because he was stunned at the time. We are good. Archmage lets us do that. We've got a Stag Knight over here. Actually very replaceable. He's giving us decreased defense, but Deacon already provides decreased defense. He gives us decreased attack. We aren't getting hit by anything, but it does give you that layer of safety, even more safety, right? What he does give us that we don't have anywhere else is decreased speed A1, which again is that extra little bit of control just to make that boss nice and safe and straightforward. And then we have your choice of nuker. I'm bringing in Magnar here, who's going to be perfect for stage 20 and stage 25. Obviously, the best in-slot nuker, the best one you could possibly bring in, of course, is Seer. And Seer is going to work perfectly with this team as well, right? Because Archmage Helmet, the other great thing he does a whole bunch of buffs that Seer can use to rip off and to nuke the enemy waves. So I tested it out, actually, and my Seer doesn't have crazy gear. I actually found that this team runs similarly to the Seer team. So, you're not going to lose out on too much. But really, the point I want to make is that the nuke slot, right, the damage dealer slot, is very replaceable. You can bring in almost any epic champion. You know, bring in your Genbo. You could bring in Dark Elhain. Everyone has a Dark Elhain. You can bring in whoever you want, and they will do the job. You just need someone to clear the waves. We got through the waves. Usually it takes roughly 2 minutes with this team, and then it's another 1 minute 30 to 2 minutes or so to kill the boss. So it's consistent. It's not super fast, but it's not super slow either. Again, I do think with like a seer, who's going to be the fastest option for stage 25, shocker, right? Absolute shocker. If you bring in seer, just put her in the nuke slot right here in this team. You could probably knock a minute off the run, I'd say, from the waves, and then she's going to be similar speed on the boss. But as you can see against this boss, as I said, with all of that turn meter control that we have, look at the boss's turn meter. He doesn't stand a chance, right? We are way overkill with this team and with this gear. So I could ditch Stag Knight, I could ditch Deacon, I could ditch Archmage. You know, I could swap in other champions, another decreased defense champion, whatever. Bring in another CC epic to lock down the waves, and we'd be totally good. We've got so much turn meter control. We are super duper safe. There we go, 4 minutes on the dot. We take it down. We got some gloves we can sell. Isn't that nice? So pretty fantastic. Now, stage 20 is actually very similar as well. Let's go into stage 20. We can run the exact same team. The only thing to note on stage 20, I will say for stage 25, being Spirit Affinity, your options for, I'd say the nukers in particular, are quite different, right? So for example, I'd say Royal Guard is a really good option for stage 25. It's going to be a bit slower on the waves. You can see these waves are absolutely exploded by Magnar. Going to be a bit slower on the waves at Royal Guard, but Royal Guard has a 4-hitter A3 that does deplete turn meter and does decrease speed. So he's a really good option. If you're missing some of these champions, you don't have all that turn meter control, bring in a Royal Guard instead. It's your damage. Yeah, it's a bit slower on the waves, but he's great damage against the boss, and he brings you turn meter control for the boss, and also knocking down that boss shield, so he's really going to help you. As you can see, here we go. We're absolutely blitzing through the stage 20 dungeon. The boss only has 10 pips on his shield, so it's very quick to knock that down. And yeah, we're ripping through. And you can see with this team for stage 20, Archmage Helmet, he's the wrong affinity, so he really doesn't need to be here. You could replace him with what you want. The problem with this is, as you can see right there, Allure. Allure is the weak affinity. The big thing is, you can see the turn meter just chunking down though. That turn meter depletion effects are depleted by half. They're half potency on stages 21 to 25. So when we go back here to stage 20, our turn meter deplete is much stronger. Of course, you do have the risk, if you're relying solely on Allure, that she could weak hit 3 times in a row, or maybe get resisted 1 time with bad luck or whatever, and suddenly the boss gets a turn. You're probably going to be okay. He's not going to hit crazy hard on stage 20. You'll probably be okay, but it's just something to be aware of. And that's where certainly Stag Knight placing decrease attack makes it much safer, and all the rest. But yeah, with this team, like, I could take Archmage out. I could run this as a 4-man team, and we'd rip through just fine. To be honest, I could probably 3-man this with Stag Knight, Magnar, and Allure, and we get through it probably in fairly similar speed. But yeah, again, it's just, I want to give you guys a sense for how these teams work. So we did about half the time for stage 20. So it's really up to you. It's really up to you. I do think with this exact set, with an Allure-based team, I do think it's nice to have like Deacon for that backup, you know, turn meter control, just to make sure the boss stuff goes smoothly, because you could get really bad luck and fail a run with Allure. It is possible. And yeah, like I said, this team, as you can see from both of those runs, it's really overkill with turn meter control. I'll show you the gear in a second. So you could bring less turn meter control than this if you don't have the champions, and you'll get away with it. Or you could bring more and be extra safe. I don't know. It's up to you. But yeah, this is the team that I'll be running. It's basically this team. I think will do the job just fine. So let me show you the builds and what we have going on. Magnar is first. I do have him level 1 awakened. He's got cruelty. It's a little bit of extra damage, not too much really. He's just there for the AoE nukes, and he is 82k HP. He's actually very slow, 169, and then 235% crit damage, obviously 100% crit rate. So not the craziest nuking gear. I mean, there's probably plenty of you watching that have, you know, Magnar's maybe a 280% crit damage or something. You don't need that much. More and you do it faster. You know, the better the gear is, you're going to clear the waves faster. Like, we didn't quite one-shot the stage 20 waves, so slightly better gear and you would be good. I do have him in a lethal set, which is like the better Savage. Savage set or lethal is going to give you the most damage. And then for his masteries, we do have Helm Smasher and yeah, typical sort of arena nuker stuff, which is where I mostly use him. Going to the next champion then, we have Archmage. The mascot for the channel. He's coming in with fairly standard masteries. He's got War Master and then extending his buffs. And he's bringing us all that control. He's very straightforward. He needs good speed. You do want him to be fast. Really good accuracy because I've used him for Doom Tower Hard. Check out my budget team for Doom Tower Hard. If you never saw that, he is a key component. Put Archmage, Vizix, and Syl together, and it's like... it's a pretty sweet combo. He does need 100% crit rate, right? For him to do his stun, he has to crit, right? He has to crit on the first hit here to do the AoE, and it's the AoE that has the really, really good chance to stun. So he does need to have good crit rate, guys. But yeah, that's basically what he needs to do. Just high speed, crit rate, high accuracy, and the rest is just gravy. For Allure, she is tricky to build, so mine is actually quite quick. Your Allure might not be as fast. Maybe she's way faster. I've seen people with 300 plus speed Allures for sure. But 276 speed, she's nice and quick. This makes it just very consistent. But as you saw from our turn meter control, you can get away with much lower speed. We are really overkill on the speed. But the key with her, she does need 100% crit rate. Then again, for the accuracy levels, I should mention for these dungeons, right? You need about 220. That's it. 220 accuracy. You're good for dungeons up to stage 25. Accuracy requirements are very low. We're building like 350 is really what we're aiming for Doom Tower Hard, the top of Doom Tower Hard, okay? So you don't need accuracy this high, but she's kind of tricky because you want 100% crit rate, you want the accuracy, then you want her to really be fast for Allure. She is in this. We have Giant Slayer on her because she mostly just spams her A1. And yeah, then we had Deacon coming in. Deacon, he's got War Master. He's got, better chance of place his debuffs for his Leech on his A1. And he is coming in, again, very quick. That's the goal. Build him up fast and accuracy. I have him with good crit rate, but he doesn't need good crit rate. He can really just be fast, right? You can have him just fast. And again, if you're using Deacon for a clan boss team and he's at a specific speed, you should be, again, just fine. He's probably going to be slower than this for a specific clan boss team. I wouldn't worry about it. He's going to be just great, especially with the aura really making it easy to speed control the boss. Then for Stag Knight, he's almost the exact same masteries, I think, as Deacon. He definitely needs Sniper. Don't miss that out. Otherwise, he can miss his decreased attack, decreased defense. So he does need that. And then War Master for the damage. And he's got a level 8 banner. Make sure don't roll your banner above level 8 or the game will explode. It's just the way it is. I'm joking. But he needs good accuracy. Again, only 220 required for this dungeon. And then just give him some speed. He doesn't need to be crazy fast, but you might as well make him a good speed, He just needs to be faster than your nuker, but there's no reason not to give him decent speed. I have him with crit rate as well because he does some okay damage, but it's not essential. Again, much like Deacon, he just needs good speed and accuracy, and you're laughing, right? Really, so that's as simple as that. Putting in a Royal Guard or something as a filler, again, like my Royal Guard, if you're curious, is built like this for Hydra. And these are his masteries. I've shown him off a lot, but I think he's a really good replacement option to put in there. But there you go. And I guess the final thing for you to see is, of course, the presets if you want to use this team. Not too much going on with the preset, really. It's very simple. Nothing for Deacon except to open with his A1 when we get to the Fire Knight, right? It's just going to do the double hit to knock down the shield. With Allure, no presets wave 1 or 2. When we get to the boss, just turn off her A2 and A3 and have her spam her A1. She doesn't even need to be booked, by the way. I do have her booked for Temptation for Dark Fae, but you don't need to. Same deal with Stag Knight. Doesn't need any presets except just open with the A1 for the double hitter to knock down the shield when you get to the boss. Archmage, we don't care. He can do whatever he wants. And Magnar, same thing. We don't care. Do whatever he wants. If I was putting in Royal Guard, which I think is, again, a champion. If you've got him built up right. If you're putting him in as a substitute, the specific sort of thing I would do, here's my other Royal Guard if you want to see his stats. What I would do is when I get to round 2, I would turn off Hamstring, and then I would have him open with hamstring and just leave the rest as default, right? It's the 4 hits at random. It will help you knock down the shield. It does some nice turn meter depletion. It can land decreased speed. So that's what I would do with Royal Guard. But pretty simple, straightforward. If you guys have any very different team suggestions, let us know. If you got teams that allure, let us know as well. But yeah, there you go. That is the Fire Knight thing. Again, let me know as well if there's any technical issues I still have to resolve. Let's try get those fixed in the next couple of days. Might not be able to get them fixed for tomorrow, just depending, just depending on work turnover and all the rest. But for Tuesday and beyond, hopefully we should get them fixed by then. But guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for bearing with me as well during the move and all the chaos with setting up the recording and all the rest. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I missed the stop recording button. Let me try it again. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.